Change, the act of becoming different. I know what you're thinking, and I agree with you. Change is hard. Somewhere deep inside, there's a resistance to change. We want to do better and feel better, but we also want the familiar life, comfort foods, and routine that we grew up with. We admit that some changes would be good for our long-term health, so we agree to dip our toe in the pond of change. We're not ready to jump in because that feels dangerous. We don't want to drown in all the changes, so we agree to start small. Small daily changes that are in the right direction that will eventually take us to the life we dream of. Small but mighty. Daily wins and celebrations. Positive affirmations, creating healthy habits. This is the path to health. You've probably already come up with 5 different reasons why you can't do this, but listen to the quote from Bob Proctor. Don't be a victim of negative self-talk. Remember, you are listening. Keep it simple and keep it moving. You can do this. Welcome back, everybody. This is Niki, and we are here with Dr. Kell on the Health Talk with Dr. Kell show. I'm looking forward today. We're going to discuss the 6 changes you can make today to get on the road to health and wellness. So, Dr. Kell, can you dive into that for us, please?
Dive right in, Niki. Wow. Well, 6 changes. Shall we say what they are to start with? We've got 2 emotional, 2 physical, and 2 nutritional. Okay. Very basic things. For most of us, it's all about getting started. It's hard to get started. It really is hard to get started. I mean, for most of us, we just get used to what we're doing. We get in a routine. Most of the time, it's not a great routine, especially when it comes to health and wellness. Mm-hmm. So we want to touch on a few things. First, to me, the physical and the nutritional are extremely important. Those have to be a part of the plan, but emotion is really what sets it all off. If you can't get in the proper emotional state of mind, you really tough to get to the other 2 areas. So today, let's start out a little bit talking about the emotional stuff. First of all, stop beating yourself up.
Easier said than done.
Do you do that? Do you do that, Niki? Sometimes you beat yourself up about things. Everybody does. I beat myself up about things sometimes too, of course, because oftentimes we don't think about it. And why don't we think about it? Because it's stuck inside our brain from the time we're a baby. We're constantly hit with negative influence and negative situations, and we have lots of positive ones too. But if you think about the survival mode in our body and in our brain, we react. We're always protective, and so we tend to remember the negative things because it's a form of protection, and it's set into our subconscious. And from the time we grow and start growing up and experiencing life, it sets into our mind and our brain a reactive behavior that is just an immediate response. Anytime we come to a new situation, we often have to stop and think about it. You think about different situations in life. I like to watch movies and action movies.
Yes.
And you take that back into real life. Think about yourself for a moment, about a certain situation that may have arisen in your life recently, where you had something happen, may not have necessarily been too positive, and you didn't immediately react. You hesitated, and sometimes that hesitation didn't give a good result because you really had to think about what you were going to do before you did it. But that's how our brain works. So we have all this stuff stuck in our head. And we're always telling ourselves, no, we shouldn't do that. No, we shouldn't do that. No, we shouldn't do that, because of what happened in our past.
So we're like trying to protect ourselves from being embarrassed or being hurt.
Yes. And we're very concerned about what others think, aren't we? Always about what others think of us. It's just creates almost a nightmare for some people in their head, especially as you're younger, those teenage years and going through into adulthood, whether you're working with people, that social interaction, all of it is always that way. So I have a little method, Niki, that I came up with on how to deal with negative and positive thoughts, because we want to retrain our brain to focus on the positive, right? Because the positive things are what are going to propel us into doing something better, not the negative things. The negative things may be protective, but they don't help us really progress. They just keep us safe.
They keep us safe and small.
Keep us safe. And, over the last year, we've been dealing with COVID. We're all hiding in the house, being safe. Everybody wants to be safe.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Time to get out. Time to do something positive. I'm getting sick of all this, and I think everybody is. tired of sitting around doing nothing. So time to get up and do something. So anyway, little technique. And it may sound a little weird to people, but try it, please.
Okay.
Every time, I want you to consider your thoughts. Think about something right now negative. Nikki, can you think of something negative?
Oh, yeah.
You have something in your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Pinch yourself. Hard.
No,
Hard.
I don't
Did
like
it hurt?
it. I don't like
it. Hurt. Okay, that was negative feedback to your brain. Okay?
Yes.
You do that enough, it'll help you stop thinking about that negative thing. Okay.
It's true.
Now,
I don't like it.
I want you to think about something positive.
Okay.
And I want you to laugh.
Okay.
As you're thinking about it, I want you to clap twice. Harder. Okay? That will input into your brain to remember that thing.
So you laugh and then clap twice.
That's right.
Okay.
Can you do that? Okay. Okay, that's a positive thing. That's positive feedback. Okay, you create the positive feedback loop. What we want to do is set into our subconscious mind positive feedback, and we want to stop the negative feedback.
My arm still hurts from pinching it.
Good. Okay, with practice, you'll learn what's just good enough. All right. Okay. We don't want you to be we don't want to create self-abuse here. Yeah. Okay, but we do want
bad behaviors.
We do want your body to recognize that it's not a benefit to think of that negative thing, but it's a benefit to think of a positive thing. And those are other ways. And people may create their own ways of doing it, and that's okay too. But the point is to cut off those negative thoughts and promote the positive thoughts.
I love that. That's
all right.
You are creative. I'll give you that.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's move on.
Okay. I've reprogrammed myself. I feel so good.
Okay.
I feel so smart.
I don't want to hear another negative word in this podcast.
That's right. Okay. You won't.
Okay, good. All right. Well, let's move on.
Brilliant.
What do you got? What do you got on your list? You got 6 things. Where are we at? We covered the emotional now.
How about physical?
Okay. What do we got on physical? Get up.
Get up.
Get up. Get up. There you go. You get up. I'll just.
Okay, tell me what to do. Getting up.
You did it. You did it. That's it. Just get up.
Haha.
Get up. And
I did
of course,
I'm so good.
Of course, follow through. Yes, you clapped. Very good. I like it. And you laughed. Very good. It's a positive response. Everybody do that out there. As you're listening. Stand up, clap, and laugh. Okay? You got it.
You've done it. I've done something physical.
You got it.
Good for the day, right?
Something physical. That was a beginning. And this is all about the basics. Beginning.
I did something.
What's the second thing? Breathe. Deep breaths. Breathing. I mean, anybody that's read anything on health today knows that breathing is so significant. Most of us breathe slowly. We breathe in a shallow way, and we're not getting enough oxygen to our brain. We need to breathe. I recommend, and I try to do every 15 to 20 minutes, take 3 deep breaths.
So that's my problem with my brain. Not enough oxygen up there.
Well, it could be many things, but breathing is a simple solution. Get more oxygen to your brain. It will help you think better. It will help you perform better, and you'll be happier. So take a breath, laugh and clap. There you go. Oh, you clapped 3 times that time.
Oh, no, I've already messed it up.
Mess that up. Okay.
I wanted more.
Very good. Okay.
So sorry.
So
can we cut that out?
we're going to discuss a whole lot more in future episodes about the physical aspects of things and what you're going to do after you get up and what some special breathing techniques. We'll go on about those things today. We're not going to cover those, but just that's a start. Okay.
I definitely need help with that.
Get up and breathe. Okay.
I'll try.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll write it in my planner.
Good.
Okay.
Good. What's next?
Okay. Nutritional.
That's one that everyone has fun with because what do we do in life? We're always...
This can be complicated.
Oh.
Nutrition?
Very complicated. But we're going to start with the basics.
Okay,
just a couple of things here. Okay. Chew your food.
Oh, I can do that.
Chew your food. Digestion is a big part of nutrition. I don't care what you're putting in your mouth, even if you're eating potato chips and drinking soda. The potato chips, you need to chew them up, not just crunch them in your mouth and swallow them, okay? The chewing process is part of our digestive process. You produce, your saliva actually starts to digest your food in your mouth, and chewing it, reason God gave us these teeth to chew those up And so it's all little tiny bits when you swallow it, so it's much easier for the stomach to digest. If you're not chewing it up, it gets to your stomach and it sits there. Especially proteins like beef and chicken, pork, those things will sit in your gut for many hours if they're not fully masticated when you put them in your mouth. Everybody likes that word, masticated.
Yeah, masticated.
Don't mistake that for anything else.
That's right.
Okay.
Do it right.
Okay. The other thing, we talked about going in. Now we're going to talk about going out. The other end.
Yes, that's the tough part.
And pooping.
Let's talk about poop.
Poop is a big topic. And we're going to spend a whole podcast or more just on poop in the future. But right now, we're just going to touch on poop.
I like poop.
One of my favorite things that I learned over the years in health and something that was created by a doctor was it's called the Bristol stool chart. Okay, here.
Wow.
I think I should even hold it up for a minute. Okay, you can find it online. Just Google it. We'll have it on our online for you too to download, take a look at later, or link to.
Awesome.
But on that chart, it gives you there's 1 through 7. 1 and 2, not good. 3 and 4, reasonably good. 5, 6, and 7, you don't want either. 1 and 2 basically are telling you you're dehydrated. You're not drinking enough water. So keep that in mind. If your poop looks like a rabbit, or it's really lumpy and clumpy, you're dehydrated. Okay. You get down type 3 and type 4, a little more solid, a little going through smoothly, not so bumpy. 3 could still show a slight dehydration. 4, I like ideally looks like a banana. Okay. Get down to where you're really becoming really kind of wet and juicy. Your body's trying to dump toxins or bad bacteria out of your system. You got diarrhea. Something's going on. Something's not right. Your body's trying to get rid of something. So those are the 7. You have any questions about poop?
So what are we trying to get? 4?
Trying to get 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
I prefer 4, but 3 they consider okay as well. Brown is also the best color. Green means you may have too much bile coming through your system. Brown, your red blood cells break down and they turn brown in your system, so you're constantly creating the blood cells and getting rid of them, so that's a sign. So good. If you're getting really dark and black, then that means that you could have some bleeding. That's a scarier symptom. So if you got black or red, real red stuff, and you haven't recently eaten cayenne pepper, you might be have a little concern. Get checked out there. If you have chronic diarrhea, you should go and see your doctor as well. How many times a day should you go? That's a big question. Nobody seems to really understand, or a lot of people don't really know. How many times do you go a day, Nikki?
I try for 1.
Try for 1.
Yeah.
Try for 1. Eric, what do you do?
Twice? Oh, I'm jealous.
Our producer says twice a day. Well, Nikki, I go at least 3 times a day. Yes.
Oh.
And there's people out there that are probably only going once a week, less.
I've been there.
I knew a young man one time, literally, it was so sad. He had gone for like 3 months, and he didn't say anything to his parents.
Hadn't gone to the bathroom in 3 months?
Yes. They were really wondering how he kept from dying.
Yeah.
But when he went, they actually had to do surgery. He was so impacted and backed up. They had to go in and do surgery. I can't remember now. It's been a few years ago. I want to say he was like 15.
Oh, young. Wow.
But obviously there was dysfunction of his bowels when that occurred. Hard to say. Many reasons what must have caused that.
They don't know what caused it.
Well, there's a variety of reasons, the dysfunction of the nerves to emotional problems. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can make you constipated. Yeah. The problem was he had gone, and it's hard to believe that he went that long. Maybe he did get partial things or small amounts coming out. I don't know. I don't know all the details. This is what his parents told me.
Yeah.
Wow. So you should be concerned. You can bet if you're not, people, the guys that created the Bristol chart, they say if you go 3 to 4 times a week, that's okay. that can be considered normal. I disagree. I think you need to be going at least once a day, preferably twice a day, and 3 times a day is great.
Wait, have you always gone 3 times a day from the time you were little?
Oh, no. No. But it is a sign of what you're taking in. You need to get an adequate amount of fiber in your system. That's a big one everybody lacks, is the fiber side of things. That's part of what keeps things moving, but you do need to be careful. Some of the over-the-counter fibers they use is a little too rough, can cause damage to the intestine as well. If it's too rough, you got to have nice, good natural fiber, preferably natural from the fruits and vegetables that you eat.
You know what? When I eat cookies, they don't have fiber in them, so it does slow me down.
Oh, actually,
I did notice that.
Actually, breads, cookies, any processed
ice cream
foods will slow your system down, and they cause inflammatory reactions too in the system, which slows the whole system down too. It's really involved. There's a lot to your digestive system and how it functions and works. I don't want to say it's super complicated on how to fix it, because I don't believe it is, unless you've been dealing with it for years. So the older you are, the longer you've had the problem, the longer it can take to repair. But we will go over that in future episodes.
Wait, so what is the simple fix then?
The simple fix is to change your diet, to exercise, and fix your emotional issues. And when I say fix, life is a balance. Yeah. And it's an ongoing process. Yeah. You're trying to reach equilibrium of what we call the triad of health, to reach optimal health and wellness. The simple fact is, from the time we're born and we begin growing, we're dealing with constant opposition from the environment we exist in. And so it's about trying to create this balance and keep the human machine running at its optimum level. That can be different for everyone, especially if you've been sedentary most of your life. You don't want to just go out and all of a sudden make these drastic changes. You want to make it slow and gradual. Unfortunately, as human beings, we don't like slow and gradual. We want to take the pill right away so the pain goes away now. We want to lose weight today so that we look good in a day or 2 or 3. We really have a hard time, and partially it's because of what we're taught. Our environment, money, everything going towards self-help is always do it fast, get through it quickly. It's not the healthy way to go, but we do need immediate response, an immediate positive response. Hence the clapping and the laughing. That's right. It gives you an immediate a lift. And so that's why we go there.
It does. That makes me feel better. Yeah. So that was a good wrap up of the PDF that you are giving the listeners, the 6 changes they can make today. So just briefly go over it again. So the physical, we need to get up and we need to breathe. Things that everybody can do. You're keeping it really simple. So these are simple starting places for everyone. The nutritional, chew your food, and then make sure that you're checking out what's coming out on the other end. The POOP.
Yeah, and the big one there is water. For most of the people out there, constipation is the issue. If you're getting the diarrhea, you should see someone too, because you may have something going on in your system where your bowel is overreacting, trying to get rid of toxins, trying to get rid of infectious materials in there, things you've eaten, whether it's bacteria, viruses, fungus, whatever. Your system's trying to get rid of whatever's there, or you have so much inflammation going on because you've damaged the intestinal system, and so it's always in a state of inflammation. Therefore, it's constantly trying to get everything out too. So that needs to be evaluated if it's a chronic thing. Of course, we all get a little bit. A good example of the 5 through 7 on the list is that you went out to dinner and minutes to a few hours later, you're sitting on the toilet, or it's coming out your mouth because it didn't get past there. Your body. I tend to believe that a healthier person will throw up what they put in them that's not good for them quickly, whereas the less healthy person, it'll pass through their system, and the body eventually realizes this ain't good for me, and it shoves it out the other end as quick as it can. Hence, it takes fluid from your body, pushes it into the intestines, and then goes out in a more liquid form, attempting to get it out of the body.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And then the last part with the emotional is unlearn the negative and then reprogram the positive.
Yes.
With our laughing and clapping and our pinching.
Yeah.
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 Those are really great techniques. I love it.
Basic things to do.
Yeah. Really simple, basic. They can go to our website, oceanbaynaturals.com, to find the download. And anything else that you wanted to give them today?
I think we're good, unless you had any other questions.
I don't think I did. Yeah. I appreciate you being here today and discussing the 6 changes on our 6th episode. How cool is that?
Perfect.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Did you want to laugh and clap one more time?
I did.
All right, guys.
Just 2 claps.
Oh, did I do more?
You did more.
Well, I get excited. I get excited. So, very good.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Niki.
While we make every effort to broadcast correct information, we are still learning. We will double check all facts, but realize that medicine is a constantly changing science and art. One doctor may have a different way of doing things from another. We are simply presenting our views on how to live a healthy lifestyle that will be as evidence-based as possible. We welcome any comments, suggestions, or corrections of errors. We take no money from drug or device companies. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical condition in either yourself or others, including but not limited to patients that you are treating. Consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the podcast. Under no circumstances shall Dr. Kell Fullerton or any guests or any contributors to the podcast or any employees, associates, or affiliates of Dr. Kell Fullerton be responsible for damages arising from use of this podcast. This blog should not be used in any legal capacity whatsoever, including but not limited to establishing standard of care in a legal sense or as a basis of expert witness testimony. No guarantee is given regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on this podcast. Our website, blog, and podcasts are all HIPAA compliant. While you may give your email address to subscribe to the website posts or to post information on the website blog, we will never share your email address or contact information with any third parties without your explicit permission. The contents of Health Talk with Dr. Kell podcast and the show notes are all copyrighted. All blog posts, podcasts, and show notes that are distributed to the public for free can be redistributed via hard copy or electronic copy for free only if Health Talk with Dr. Kell is included as the acknowledged author within the actual media that is being redistributed. The Health Talk with Dr. Kell podcast is a production of the Orange Stack, with executive producers Dr. Kell Fullerton and Eric Hammond and hosts Niki Sterner.